Mr. Fleming,
Here.
Ms. Lesko,
Here.
Mr. Burhans, Mr. Jackson,
Present.
Mr. Simpson, Mr. Little, Mayor Bonta, Attorney Dogan.
All right, we'll move on to approval of minutes last meeting, July 10th.
I'll make a motion to.
Don't forget to put your minus.
All right, we have a first and second open for discussion. No discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes pass. Okay, move on to treasurer's report. Ron?
Marina operating funds as of July 31st, 2025. Oh, shucks. Thank you. Marina operating funds as of July 31st, 2025, $385,017.31. Port Authority funds as of July 31st, 2025, $136,680.16.
Okay, we need a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report with the Marina Fund being $385,017.31 and the Port Authority Fund being $136,680.16.
Second.
All right, we have first, second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, treasurer's report passes. Move on to claims.
I'll make a motion to approve the Marina claims in the amount of $177,928.97. And I will also make a motion to approve the Port Authority claims in the amount of $618.75.
That's,
Okay, I rescind that motion for the Port Authority. I'll make a motion to approve the Port Authority claims in the amount of $1,336.25.
All right, we'll need a second.
I'll second.
All right, open discussion on claims.
Okay, the claims, I can explain the large amounts. Those are for the grant. Being Hassey Construction, $73,677.02. And the other large claim for Hassey also in the amount of $84,246.55. We will be reimbursed 25% of those. And the reimbursements have been,
no, you get 75%.
I'm sorry, we will receive 75% from the DNR regarding our grant.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor of passing claims, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Claims passes. Move on to committee reports. Mr. Dogan is not here tonight for legal. Move on to Marina facility. Barb?
Okay, Marina Port report as of August 14th, 2025. Open slips as of August 5th are 6 in the 25-foot range, 1 on the 30-foot range, and 4 on the 35-foot range. Weekends have been very busy with launches. In July, we had a total of 843 launches. Concession sales have been good also, with our ice being a big seller in the hot weather. I'm happy to report that we had no incidents where we needed a police presence. Season pass sales have slowed, with a total of 2 sold in July. We have sold a total of 100 season passes so far in 2025 and donated a total of 10 passes for disabled veterans. In July, we had approximately 63 transient overnight stays. I've been putting the transients, the overnighters in the transient wall and not in the slips. This has been our practice for several years. Our intent on that is to guarantee security for the slip holders on the docks. Seasonal employees have been keeping up with their daily duties: garbage, restrooms, weeds, sweeping, delivering ice, and on busy days, giving rides on the golf cart to keep the launch line moving. Central Services Maintenance has stayed on top of general marina repairs. When repairs are requested, personnel shows up promptly to address the issue or the request. We inspect marina electrical annually and monthly walk the docks, checking power cords. All non-marine grade cords are immediately unplugged, and the slip holder is notified and contacted on the spot. When the incident occurred at Marina Shores, we immediately inspected all marina electricals and found no issues on any dock or light tower. Grant reimbursements are up to date, and we are being reimbursed in a timely manner. It started slow due to changes in personnel and job descriptions. I have 2 outstanding claims were emailed to the DNR on July 28th. The expected turnaround time is 2 to 3 weeks. July 29th, ITEM performed their annual inspections of both the Kiko pump-outs and the transient dock west of the pump-out station. The pump-out stations were replaced in 2019 with 100% funding by the Clean Vessel Act. The transient dock was installed, I believe, in 2009. It was funded by a big federal BIG, which is a big infrastructure grant. ITEM expects both sides every year. Submitted by Barb Luxco, Harbor Master.
All right, thanks, Barb. Any questions on the marina? If not, we'll move on to safety. Dave?
Everything looks to be normal. Couple big trees, so to speak. It looks like they've dislodged and moved themselves onward. One, as you're going under the first 2 sets of bridges towards the lake off to the right, doesn't look like it's causing anybody any issues. Everything else looks tucked away and neat off to the sides. And the buoys seem to be back in place finally, too, I noticed.
All right, good to hear. Thanks for the update. Planning and development. Anything there? We want to bring Matt up now.
Good evening, everyone. Just a quick update about the fish cleaning station and the fishing pier. If you've been by it lately, you've seen that there's not a lot of new work going on there. The steel has been ordered. They're waiting for us to pick which color black we're going to have the steel painted. So we've got a couple of samples, nothing too major, but once that gets done, then they'll paint it. We had a meeting today, and Hassie reported that the steel should be here in a couple of weeks from that selection of the color. The fishing pier is all done. The punch list items are all complete. It's probably reported to you last meeting. They're looking at the Prairie Avenue parking lot, getting that paved the end of this month. We're pushing them to try to get it done before Labor Day, not over the Labor Day weekend. And the water's been hooked up. NIPSCO's been out to the site, so our utilities seem like they're going well, and they plan to be doing concrete work over the next 2 weeks. So they'll be pouring the concrete pad around the fish cleaning station and then pouring the sidewalk up at Prairie Drive down to the fishing pier. So I know that the last couple of months, it seems like the work comes and goes in stages. The big lead time on this whole project was the fish cleaning table, which had about a 30-week lead time when we started it. And I think because of it, they haven't had a lot of motivation to try to get all the other work done, so it could just sit there and wait for the table to come. So I think on their standpoint, I understand there's, you know, you don't see a lot going on there, and it seems like the work should be happening a lot quicker. From a scheduling standpoint, the fish cleaning table is the biggest part of that, other than the parking lot that goes to the fishing pier. Anyone has any questions on that project?
So the handicap accessible pier won't be accessible until the concrete's poured to get there, correct? And there's a place for parking?
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yep. Yep.
Thanks, Matt.
The second thing I have is we got contacted the middle of July about a sinkhole that had formed and sidewalk issues out at the marina by the marina building. I'm sure you've all seen it if you've been out there. It's all roped off. Danny had gone down, done some measurements, and what it's turned out to be is still the water that's coming from that big parking lot is running to the east during heavy rainfall events. The sidewalk that's over the seawall is actually sloped backwards, so it's holding and trapping water instead of originally it was sloped towards the marina basin. So the water would run over it and then dump into the marina. Because it got undermined at some point over the past 25 years, it's now sloped backwards. So the water is running and being directed underneath that slab, and it has washed out the sand that they use to backfill the seawall into the basin. So what we were proposing is, it's a temporary fix. It's probably 3 to 5 years. We might be able to get more out of it, depending on the rainfall events we have. But the sidewalk half of it would be saw cut out and removed. The area that has the railing on it would remain in place so that we don't have to remove that. The sand that's still underneath that area, I don't know if you've got the graphic, but in between the two sidewalks in between the two sidewalks that run to the east, that area would be dug out down to about the water level. We would put a filter fabric in that entire void, fill it with number 2s, which are a large clean stone. It doesn't have a lot of fines in it, and it packs very well. So once it sits on top of each other, you don't have to compact it down. The weight of it and the size and orientation of the rock holds it in place. You don't have settlement. Then we would put in what are called Indiana 53s, which is a crushed limestone that does have a lot of fines in it. That's for the very top surface. And then we would re-pour the sidewalk over the top of it where we had cut out. And this will then allow the water, because the water is still going to come from that parking lot, and it's still going to come to this area. When we re-pour that sidewalk that's cut out, it will be sloped properly back to the marina basin. So we will get that overland flow, but any water that does run underneath the soil into that stone is going to run through the stone to the seawall and then out through the jet filters that we put in last year. It won't take the sand that's currently under there with it, because now there'll be big, clean pieces of stone under there for the water to route through. We've got an estimate that's attached on what we believe this should come in at, and I believe we're looking for the board to take direction on whether they want to go out and seek quotes to have a contractor come in and do this work.
Well, my opinion is since you've done all the work and you're the expert, $29,000, we do have the money to do this.
Any questions about the work that needs to be performed? Has anyone gone down and looked at that, or I know Barb has, she's there.
I've looked at it many
It's
times.
obviously a big void that's been created, and it is currently secured from public access. So we've taken those steps, but, you know, this is a main public walking area. It's gonna have to be addressed. We were talking today, maybe long-term, what does it look like to put another wall next to the current wall, or what that looks like? We don't exactly know, but that appears to be something that's probably forthcoming. And then
Yeah.
however we configure what's behind that then, at that point. But we'll see how this repair works.
So Matt, that hillside, the Marina Basin, was just basically sand.
Yep, yep. When they dug this whole thing out, I believe Portage was selling that sand or distributing it to somebody. That was back in the mid-90s, but a lot of sand came out of this whole basin. And they used sand to backfill when they built the seawalls, which was a whole lot cheaper at that time and was readily available and was back in 1995. So,
We're probably pretty fortunate that it's lasted this long,
yeah.
you know, based on that.
Matt, with the sloping of the sidewalk, do you think that'll be sufficient over this period of 3 to 5 years to handle that? Do we need to consider anything else in regards to containment of water runoff?
No, I don't believe so. I mean, if there's a possibility of doing some stormwater improvements, I know that when we were out there looking at it with Danny, we found that there were several standpipes that are around the building that look like have drains that run to them. They're completely covered in debris, and it doesn't look like that the water that gets to there goes anywhere. So those need to be jetted out, those need to be cleaned out, and see where those pipes go to. That might be some of the issue that's happening in this area. The water is coming off of that roof, coming off of all the stone, is unable to get into a drain that takes it to the marina, and instead it's just pumping underground.
Plus, we've had a couple of really serious downpours this year, too,
Yeah.
where
yeah.
2 inches, 4 inches of rain fell.
Okay. Other questions for Matt? Obviously, this is a situation that's developed, and this is a response to it. Want to make sure it's seems to be the right response to the current situation, and in long term, we're going to have other considerations, but this is the best current.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to go ahead and proceed with Abbenmarsh's estimate of $29,000. Do you think that's a pretty good way, that's a pretty good estimate, 29?
I always like to keep a little bit of contingency in there. I would say, you know, let's get the numbers, and then we'll come back and present. I mean, you could do, the board could authorize up to like 40,000 or 35,000. We will be seeking quotes for this because it's under 50, but we will be, you know, operating kind of off an emergency perspective. And, you know, we're going to go out and talk to contractors who can do this work and can get it done quickly and see what kind of numbers we get. And then what you could do is the board could authorize that the president is able to look at the quotes and see, is it within the range that has been authorized by the board? If so, then he has the ability to go ahead and execute it and get the work done. So that way you're not having to wait till the next public meeting to do it. You know it's not going to be above blank, whatever you pick as the not to exceed number.
How many contractors do we have that do this type of work?
Oh, probably 30 that can do this work in the area. It's not complicated. It's saw cutting concrete out, removing the debris, shoveling out the sand that's still there, putting in geofabric, dumping in stone, and pouring new concrete.
The only reason I was asking, because I know last time we had a problem, like, we didn't get reach out to local.
Yep, yep, and those ones was specialized work. I mean, that was really a proprietary system. This one, we would be going after local people. We'd want people that are right in this area to be able
All
to
right.
respond to this.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm going to rescind my motion for the 29,000, and I'll make a motion to approve this work not to exceed $36,000.
Okay. You'll need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, further discussion.
So we're just at the point right now where you're just seeking quotes.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, yep.
And it's not like we can pass on this. This has to be done.
Danny said today that the last rain that you had, I think yesterday, the more was washed out. So the longer we wait, the more that sidewalk is going to get worse.
Yeah, if there's anything the city can offer in their services, let's factor that in too. Okay, did we get a second? We did, okay. Any further discussion? All in favor of passing this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Look forward to the bids, and obviously season's near end, but we'll hopefully see this sometime fall or spring.
And then the last thing I have is a project scope change. This is for Abbenmarsh's contract with the board. Our contract, we typically use a general services agreement, and we put a not-to-exceed number on it. So every time that we're asked to do additional work, it's kind of like a gas station. We come out and do $200 worth of work, and you get a bill for $200. We've exhausted our last one. We had about $2,000, $2,200 of unused effort until the sidewalk issue happened. And then we had to get our engineers out there, we had to do some of the work and then put this stuff together. So at this point, we are outside of our not-to-exceed number. And I know we still got several months left. We still need to get quotes on this and then oversee the construction, make sure it gets done properly, and then report back till the end of the year. So I am asking if the board would consider raising our not-to-exceed value. Currently, it's at $25,000. We are over that at this point, so I would be asking for that to go up to $40,000. And then that would carry us through to the end of the year, where I believe there's some changes happening with the city.
I'll make a motion that we increase Abbenmarsh's general services contract from $25,000 to the not-exceed value of $40,000.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion on this issue? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Good, go forward.
Thank you.
Anything else on planning and development? Okay, I think we're good there. We can move on then to old business. Anything under old business? Any additional new business?
Just for curiosity's sake, the two piers that were damaged that were submitted for the insurance claim, has that all been resolved through Samuelson, I believe?
Yes, several months ago.
Wonderful.
Any other new business? Okay, I think we can move on to a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
And I'll accept. Meeting's adjourned.